the regular meeting of the Maine Township Board. May I please ask everyone to stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Clark, would you please do the roll call?
Absolutely. Assessor Cry?
Here.
Highway Commissioner Boubet? Here. Clerk Giovanni is here. Supervisor Diamond?
Here.
Trustee Jones is on her way. Trustee Malik?
It said he was not available this evening.
Trustee Horvath?
Here.
And Trustee Hunter?
Here.
Thank you very much. We'll begin with the motions that are on our agenda for this evening. I'm turning to my fellow trustees and asking for a motion to approve the minutes of July 27th, 2021. That is the bill pay review.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 27th, 2021, bill pay review.
I'll second the motion.
Are there any comments or corrections?
No.
Hearing none, may I roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 27th, 2021 board meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 27, 2021 board meeting.
Second.
Any comments or corrections?
No.
May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Right, do I have a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures?
I will make a motion to approve payroll for pay dates of August 6th, 2021 and August 20th, 2021, and general assistance checks 53595 through check 53642 in the amount of $45,003.26.
I will second the motion.
Okay, any discussion or comments regarding this?
No?
All right, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
That passes too. May I have a motion to approve road district expenditures?
Yes, I'll make a motion, please, to approve the payroll for the dates of August 6, 2021 and August 20th, 2021, and road district checks number 21995 through check number 22030 in the amount of $74,379.95.
Second.
All right, are there any comments or corrections about this motion?
No.
May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Thank you. That passes. May I have a motion to approve the general town fund expenditures?
I will make a motion to approve payroll for pay dates of August 6th, 2021 and August 20th, 2021, and general town fund checks number 58838 through check number 58917 in the amount of $331,600.87.
I'll second the motion.
And are there any questions or comments regarding this motion?
No.
May I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Now that we've got those preliminary matters out of the way, I think we have an interesting item on the agenda now, and that is from our India Cultural Night. Not a recent event, but an event from earlier this year. But before we start showing this, can we have a little explanation as to what this is? Who could tell us? I have an idea, but would someone like to explain what you're looking at this evening? Nader? Nader, I think you're a good person to step up to the mic and tell us who took this video, what kind of video video it is, when it was taken, etc. Peter, you want to tell us what we're going to be looking at?
You're going to be looking at the Indian Cultural Day video, which was shot Saturday before last, I believe it was. We've got it as 2021 video. My son took the video. This is only it's a 4-minute clip. Sam did it for us. And as soon as Rich takes off with it.
And this was taken using a drone too, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it was. He used a drone. And there was several clips. There's probably 12 or 13 of them, which he needs to ribbon together to make it one complete video.
Okay.
He dubbed in the music because, of course, drones don't do audio. We had a great day for it. The weather was great. And all the participants that helped put it together, kudos to all. Traditional dress for the Indian culture. Maine Township at its best.
hobby.
Just stay right there for a second. That was fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please thank your son for us for creating a really wonderful memento of our Indian Cultural Day. I'm sure everyone who attended will, it's fun to watch it. Any officials and
You're so welcome. He was really sad about not being able to make it to the Pakistani. He was out of the country. He just got back last evening, so he will put together the complete video for us. And you can see it, I'll be putting it on the shared folder.
That's just gorgeous.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, mentioning the Pakistani event, that's one more event we've had during the past month. And Peter, I understand you weren't able to be there, I understand, towards the end of the evening, but I know you were instrumental in doing many things to prepare for the event ahead of time. So a number of the attendees or the members who are here tonight did receive an award that evening, but you weren't actually there at the time, so we have saved yours. And I'm going to hold this up very carefully because if I drop it, I feel very bad. So I'm just going to read it. It says, thank you for all your hard work and contributions to the India and Pakistani cultural days. We truly appreciate your commitment and dedication. And that's to you, Mayor Gadela. Thank you very much. So I want to mention that the idea of the awards is where many of the aspects of the event were Asif's doing. I'm very sorry you can't be here tonight because a lot of things for how well both of those events go to, of course, the staff, which put in innumerable hours, but to Asif, who really had the idea and really was the engine behind these two events. Although a lot of people on our staff did a lot of work to make out as well as it did. And I have just a proclamation to read. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read some of the significant parts of this proclamation, signed by both Senator Laura Murphy and Senator Ram Villam. I think I'm saying his name right. Which I thought was sort of an interesting history on these two countries. It says, whereas the Indian Independence Act was signed in 1947, officially partitioning British India into the two independent domains of India and Pakistan. On March 23rd, 1956, Pakistan officially transitioned from a dominion into republic. And that Illinois is home to over 35,000 Pakistani Americans who have contributed to the state's economic and cultural prosperity. Therefore, be it by the Senate of the 102nd General Assembly of the State of Illinois that we stand with Pakistani Americans, residents of Illinois, on Pakistan Independence Day. So we did write this proclamation, and this will become the property of the Maine Township offices and suitably stored. So it was really a great weekend. Both events were fabulous, and I want to thank all the staff members for everything they did, and for all the very hard work they put into it. So it was really, both of them were tremendous. And I have to mention one other event too, because we're very busy, and that is a recycling event, which took place on the same day as the Pakistani event, only a few hours ahead of time. So it was extremely busy Saturday. This recycling event was also extremely popular, maybe too popular in the sense that there were cars lined up on Greenwood, I understand, early on, so as to drop off electronics. And it seemed like there was a lot of pent-up demand for getting rid of electronics. And unfortunately, the truck filled up very early in the day, so some of the people who came later in the day were not able to drop off their electronics. So we hope to hold a second event to allow residents to bring their electronics in and dispose of them in that way. And I want to thank Doreen, because she had the unenviable job of standing at the curb and telling one car after another, we're sorry, we're already full. So that was not an easy or pleasant job, because some people were very disappointed. But thank you for doing that. So All right, back to our agenda. The next item we have is personnel. Daniel, would you like to address this?
Sure. So I think in your board packets, you should have received your resume for Kathleen Ryder. And tonight, we are asking board approval for Kathleen for a part-time receptionist position at $15 an hour at 19 hours per week. And I believe start dates will probably be the first week in September. I think she can probably start at any time, pending board approval. Just to give the board a quick backstory, we had a receptionist, Tracy Cummings, who worked for us for many, many years, and at the very beginning of the pandemic, Tracy had left due to some personal reasons. So right at the beginning of COVID, she left, not knowing how long pandemic was going to last. We temporarily placed Carol Lincoln, who's our food pantry director, up at the front desk just to help out until we can see how long the COVID was going to last or what the situation was. We weren't sure what we were doing with our programs. Lo and behold, obviously it lasted well over a year, and Carol remained up front. So now that we kind of know where we are with this, we would like to put Carol back into the food pantry, at least for part-time for now, until we decide what we're going to do. And I would like to get somebody at the front desk reception area. What I would like to do is if I can get 2 part-timers, I think that would be ideal. That way we don't have to do benefits. Also, if I can get 2 part-timers, that way if somebody does need to take off, I at least have half of the day filled. Also, if that one of the people takes off, I can ask the other person if they can work the other half of the day. What happens at the front desk is if somebody calls in sick or needs to take a vacation, then I have no one at the front to not only answer phone calls, but to greet residents as they come in. And I'm stuck pulling staff, asking them to help out. So I think 2 different people, maybe someone from 9 to 1, 1 to 5, would be ideal. And then again, we don't complete benefits. So, Victoria Rizzo and myself did receive about 43 resumes. We did about 12 phone screens, and we did 6 interviews. And Kathleen is our choice, and hopefully you have a chance to review the resume and to work on it.
All right. And I think you said this was a pre-existing position which was not refilled, is that correct?
Exactly. So we do have the funds in our salary line item, which is under town fund and admin, so the funds are there. It's not something that we would have to create.
Okay. All right. Do you have a motion to fill this position as requested?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I would like to make a motion, to fill this position as requested pursuant to this memo that we've been given by Dana, dated August 24, 2021. Kathleen Ryder.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Okay, roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Mata?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Our next
Thank you very
item
much.
is public participation. Do we have some requests for public participation? Are there anyone signed up on that sheet over there? No. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right, fine, thank you. Thank you. So number 9 is our department head guest speaker for the night. As you know, each meeting we've been asking a different person, a different department head to just talk a little bit about their department. And John Bennett, I think was actually on our schedule last month, but he couldn't make it that time, so we moved him to this month. Ben, would you like to step up to the microphone? Just tell us a little bit about your department. All right,
So, Supervisor Diamond, trustees, I'm John Bennett, Director of the Maine Township Office of Emergency Management, OEM is what we call ourselves. This is the first day I've spoken in front of the board since the day I was hired. Today is the first day. So bear with me, we've got a lot of pages to talk about. But it's all big time, so, you know. So anyway, so since most of you are new since when I was hired, I just wanted to tell you something about what my family always said to me over my lifetime. And that is, don't give John the microphone, okay? So you're now going to experience why they say that. And I have a lot to say, and I've got a couple of stories to tell. I'm very proud of what I do, and I'm not afraid to tell it. So, I'm here to describe today what OEM is about, how we operate, and hopefully impress upon you the need for the OEM program, and how much OEM needs you, okay? First, the basics, go over the really simple stuff, right? OEM members are trained to respond to a wide range of emergency and non-emergency events. You either assist primary emergency responders or to operate independently in times of catastrophic natural or man-made disasters, or when first responders may not be available. This dedicated group of community residents, properly trained and equipped, is ready to respond to assist Maine Township, its residents, and the public safety agencies that serve them to any situation that occurs. We have developed partnerships with our local first responders like North Maine Fire Protection District, the City of Park Ridge, the City of Des Plaines, the Village of Glenview, Cook County Sheriff, and Cook County Department of Emergency Management and Regional Security. We have the following assets available for township use. We have a mobile command unit with a generator that has the capabilities of communicating with the state radio bands in an emergent situation. We have 5 different types of radio bands in that vehicle. We have it's self-sufficient with the generator. It has a big screen TV. We're constantly building on this thing. That vehicle is 41 years old. It was built in 1980. I think its previous life was a bread truck. I mean, that's kind of what it resembles to me. But it's really a workhorse for our organization. We also have a utility squad that's basically your pickup truck with the boxes on the side and you put all your tools in. And it has a generator, self-sufficient. It has a 30-foot light mast. It has portable lights that we can take off the truck and use them for various things. We have a towable light tower, kind of something like you see at construction sites, right? They put the tower, the 4 light heads on it. We have one of those. We have a command vehicle, a single axle equipment trailer. We have an emergency operations center where if everything goes down, the community responders have a centralized place to operate their emergency operations. We have a towable generator and a utility pump. That's our assets. We provide many benefits to the community by serving the residents in their most trying times, be it a fire or a flood, a power outage, an accident, a missing person search. And we have worked with the township agencies and community groups to provide lighting and traffic control and pedestrian safety during their events. Our organization has monthly meetings for all the members, as well as individual group meetings and trainings. We break our responses down to, or levels of participation to, a general call out, which most of our members are part of, and basically you'll respond to anything that comes our way. But then there's also some specialized things, and like a lighting detail. So there's some specific things on how you set up and take down your lighting, right? So you got to make sure that the equipment is taken care of. We have traffic and pedestrian control, which those people only respond to those type of events. But believe it or not, you know, as much as we enjoy our volunteers, not everybody's comfortable standing in the middle of Ballard and Potter, or Dempster and Potter, excuse me, and directing traffic. You have to really be careful of matching the skills to the people that the tasks that you have. So you need specific training for traffic deployment, etc. before you get deployed. We have a communications team. Communications is one of the hardest functions of any event. I've got a couple of volunteers out here that can attest to this, and Supervisor Diamond can attest to this. When you need communications, that's usually when it fails, right? You know, we do have people that are ham operators that, you know, they're really well versed in the radio and communications side of things. And you know, Maine Township has done some really good work in regards to the communication side of things. We were on a search in Park Ridge, and Maine Township was providing communications when, because of the distance, communication was broken down. We couldn't contact teams. We had our communications people improvise. They set up a remote radio post, and all of a sudden communication was restored and everybody was going their happy way. And it did turn out to be a very successful search for the Park Ridge Police Department. So, I mean, it's really important that we provide these additional services to people. We have a new function that we just really started up, and that's called the Medical Reserve Corps. So the Medical Reserve Corps this program has been around for a while, but because of lack of communications, I guess was the best way to describe it, we were deactivated as a Medical Reserve Corps unit. I spent the last year or so getting that reestablished, and we've been, you know, very successful in this Medical Reserve Corps program at this point. During the COVID season, the 2020 COVID season, the MRC group provided temperature checks at Town Hall here for over 6 months, right? We are out here pretty much every day providing temperature checks for the employees as they came into the building. That's a long deployment, by the way, for volunteers, okay? For our contacts with Cook County Emergency Management, we were able to provide or acquire 11,000 gloves, 5,000 masks, and 1,000 gloves. Vital PPE that was distributed to the North Main Fire, Maine Township Highway, and the Maine Township, I call it admin. They were all recipients of this equipment. And this critically needed PPE. It was really difficult to find PPE at this time. It was all provided at no cost to the township. We got all this stuff through Cook County at no cost. I thought it was a great program. Recently, I've been certified as an instructor through American Heart Saver, and we've been working with plans with Dana and Vicky to provide first aid, CPR, AED training to all our township employees. We've also discussed the idea of hosting a community event that maybe we could start bringing these programs out to the public and teaching them as well. The Medical Reserve Corps has been using this volunteer database called Illinois Helps. And what that does is people from all over the state could sign up and say, you know, we will be willing to provide support to this organization like Maine Township if there is a need for if there's like a medical emergency, medical disaster. So this pandemic is one of the things you probably all heard about, everybody volunteering to want to be able to help at a COVID distribution center, right? This Illinois Helps program is a sign-up tool, if you will, okay? What we get out of this is, one, we get a database of people who are willing to help us if we wanted to do something. But the other thing, which is probably the most important part about this whole thing, they do background checks and they do professional license certification reviews for us. We don't have to do this. They do it for us. So the people if they say that the people are good, then we can use them, right? There's no cost for this program, right? So it's a great benefit to us. And the reality is, these people would only come to work for Maine Township if Maine Township called them up and said, hey, can you help us? So there's not an issue of somebody in this database doing something on their own, right? Because they're on their own, they're not part of the Maine Township group at that point, right? So there's some value there. And again, it's something that we have access to now that we didn't really have before, you know? So, and then probably the best part about the MRC program being reinstated, this is the thing I'm kind of proud about, is that we just been awarded a $5,000 grant from NACHO, the National Association of County and Health Officials. That's what it stands for. I know you asked me that question before. And its purpose is basically for the development of these medical reserve corps programs at a local level. They want to develop these at a local level. So they gave us $5,000 this year. If we are successful and continue to do what we're doing, we'd be eligible for a $10,000 grant next year. Eligible, we still got to apply, you still got to qualify, right? But it goes from 5,000 the first year to 10,000 the second. Very, very proud of that. So another function that we do, search and rescue. That's one of my pride and joys. We only respond to requests for missing people if we're requested by appropriate law enforcement agencies. We don't, if somebody came in here and said, my child's missing, would I go and help? Yes. But I still have to call the police and they have to be activated and they have to request the resources of the search and rescue team. As an individual, I know. But anyway, so Maine Township Search and Rescue is a member of the Illinois Search and Rescue Council, ISARC. ISARC is the resource and credentialing agency for search and rescue in the state of Illinois. As a member agency, we have access to unlimited training at no cost, access to resources from around the state, and a 24-hour hotline to provide support during the search. Me personally, I'm certified in search management. I'm a lead instructor in ground search and rescue, and I'm an instructor in navigation for Illinois Search and Rescue. I bring these skills to Maine Township as well, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So, the Search and Rescue Organization, I'm sorry, it's going to be a while.
Well, actually, John, we do have a number of other things on our agenda tonight. So
Okay.
Can I a little bit?
Okay.
That's great.
All right. Let me just fast forward here. Can you see what I just did? Bottom line, this is what it is, okay? Maine Township Office of Emergency Management, we've been struggling for probably the last 5 years. We had a director, a very popular director, Bob Cohen, pass away. We had the deputy director at the time get promoted to director, and then one of the other guys got promoted to deputy director. That deputy director died. Our director got terminated. There was probably 4 or 5 months where the organization was just floundering. We had no idea what was going on. Are we in business? Are we out of business? We didn't know, right? And so I filled the role of interim director and now director, okay? I need some direction on where you want the OEM program to go, okay? There's a lot of things that we can do, but with very limited resources, not only in a volunteer base, but on a financial base, it's really hard to do anything. My position, I'm paid 5 hours a week to run this program. There's a lot more than 5 hours a week of work to do in this program. We've had deputy director paid positions. We don't have any deputy director paid positions. I'm the only paid employee for OEM. And it's a lot on me. I volunteered to do this. I took the job, but it's a lot, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So I'm asking for additional resources, additional support, but I also really wanted to talk, if you can give me 5 minutes? No. Correct. I think I got to wrap it up. I'm looking for some help, and I'm looking for some guidance, both financially and in direction as far as what you want the OEM program to do. And with that, I'll say thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, we do have a lot of old business, and new business to get through, so let's move on to the next item on our agenda, agenda, waive this discussion and vote on ordinance number 2021-3, amendments to ordinance 97-3, the property maintenance code. And do I have a motion to get this on the floor here?
Motion to adopt the amendment to ordinance 97-3, ordinance number 2021-3, property maintenance code. Right, I said it backwards, but.
Okay, I think that's fine. There
I
are
second.
Okay, all right, let me just start with a few preliminary remarks, and this is something, of course, that Ed brought to our attention a couple of meetings ago, changes that he wanted to see to the code, provisions added, and these are the provisions that he requested. The wording and the numbering comes from the International Code Council, is that their name? And these would be added to our already existing building property maintenance code, which is ordinance 97-3. So that's where they're going for right now. I will say as an aside though, I do hope that we can look at using Unicode at our next meeting. During the past month, I sent out to you a link which had a video about Unicode and a quote. So I hope you had a chance to look at that. I didn't put it on tonight's agenda, actually. It seemed like a bit much, but I hope to bring that to you next month. But in the meantime, I did want to get this on our agenda because it's something that Ed had asked for a couple of months ago, and I do want to make sure we move forward with these particular provisions that Ed would like to see added so that they can enforce these and improve conditions in Maine Township and incorporated area. So, having said that, does anyone have any questions about this or comments?
I just had a comment, page 5, page 3, paragraph B at the top. It says, there's some form language, every day that a violation can continue shall constitute a separate offense. And the offenses are punishable at $50 each, I guess. To me, that's something that we should always be aware of. You know, a person, every day that an offense continues, there's another $50 to a citizen. And this is going to apply to citizens of the township that were out of town, sick, on vacation, doing their business, taking care of their families. And they've got a fine every time, each day. To me, it's just designed to raise revenue unnecessarily. So that's the only thing I objected to in this. So just adopting uniformly a code, and every single word in it is adopted now. Now we're stuck with it. So that's my comment.
Well, you know, this is something we can certainly look at this language in the future, and our code enforcement officer does have some discretion as to whether tickets or often tickets, and we've negotiated some fines too when people come in to see us. So it doesn't mean that someone will absolutely be fined this much. I think I can say that. Is that right, Ed?
I would say that's good.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments about this? Ed, did you want to add anything? I know you talked about it a little bit in the past, but...
No, I just wanted to say thanks for getting it put on the agenda tonight and increasing the property maintenance standard. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Maybe a roll call then?
No, we had a second.
You did have a second.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Potter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move to our next item, which is discussion and vote on the Maine Township investment policy. This is something we've also talked about one or two meetings in the past. I talked about how I hope that we could earn a little bit more interest on the savings that we do have. And by owning law, we can branch out and invest in some very safe vehicles that earn us a little bit more interest than a plain banking savings account. The statute does limit the number of types of investments that we can invest in, and that's something we're well aware of. But the first thing the statute requires us as a local government body to do is to adopt an investment policy. So we have to have that policy before we can start trying to buy, for instance, treasury bonds or some other vehicle that might earn us a little bit more interest. So that's what this policy is. I want to thank Doreen Barak a lot for collecting all types of samples from all over and looking at them in the statute and pulling provisions from different ones that seem to be applicable and good for us. And she prepared that for me, and I tinkered with it, and this is what we've come up with. So you have this in your packet, and I'd like a motion to adopt this Maine Township investment policy. Do I have such a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt this investment policy.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any,
I have one.
yes, go ahead, please.
Well, this is a great idea, and so thank you for suggesting it, and thank you, Doreen, for doing all the work. Under the paragraph diversification, it says, it's not the second sentence, but the second line, exceed the following diversification limits unless, is it supposed to be specially authorized or specifically authorized? I just didn't know if that was the.
I don't know, I think probably either word would work, yes, especially that way. I think either word would probably suffice there.
Okay.
Any other questions about that section or other sections?
This is great.
Just a
Great idea.
Take a quick comment. Maybe the profits that we make with this investment policy, we can reserve some of it for some of the infrastructures improvements that the employees have asked for, like the kitchen, for example.
Okay.
Especially if we have an investment policy, we're investing money. The money that we make and earn, the profits can be used to reinvest in the structure there.
Okay. I don't want to overstate how much I think we can earn, but, you know.
Obviously, that's a long-term thing.
Okay. All right. Unless there's any further questions, hey, roll call.
Supervisor Griffin,
Yes?
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
Trustee Horvath,
Yes.
Trustee Matter.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. I'll move to the next item, Director. This was a matter which was the staff request that we place on the agenda. This is a follow-up discussion on the kitchen remodel project. As you may recall, we discussed this a little bit at our last meeting. I think what we left it with is, at that time, is that Mike, you were going to try and get some quotes, but then I think we found out that because we need to comply with the Prevailing Wage Act, that it probably would be a little bit more expensive than we thought, and probably would be over $20,000 altogether, and therefore we would need to go out for an RFP. Daniel, tell me, is that correct? Is that what pretty much happened after we last talked about
Right,
it?
I think Mike is going to continue to get a few more estimates at this time.
Okay.
Right. I don't know, like.
Yeah, so with everything after the last
Why don't you get up and
Sure.
talk? It's just because we said you kind of come from other people and far away, it's a little hard to hear you.
Good evening, everyone. After the last board meeting, Dana and I met a few times and talked about doing an RFP as well as just getting some more quotes out here. Last meeting was in July. At that point, I put this kind of like on the back burner, started preparing for obviously some of the bigger events that were coming up over here. One thing that I want to do as we move forward, some of those quotes that I got were from Chicago and just not within our township. So I do want to focus more on keeping it in-house. I do want to kind of make it where, take my time with it, get the right quotes in, do it within the township and go from there. So I would say at the October board meeting, hopefully we'll have some more quotes in front of you and be able to go ahead and make a decision on this. And then the other thing that I will do, instead of giving the appliances and whatnot to the contractor, I think it would be beneficial if we just did that on our own. I think it would be cheaper if I just went and did the stove, refrigerator, just separately from giving it to a contractor.
Okay, but do we need to go after an RFP though, if this is going to be?
So we'll need to bid it out if the entire project is going to breach that $20,000 threshold. But I think until we know it's really going to breach that threshold, that's why I think for investigation to figure out if it's 17 or 18, we don't need to go out to bid. We don't need to go through the whole process.
So with the last two quotes that I ended up getting were under 20,000, and then one was just like 40,000, which was completely out of, something that we're not gonna go with, so.
All right, Mike, was that with appliances or without?
That was without appliances.
Without.
Yes.
All right, if we're buying the appliances separately, is that considered separate in terms of the need to go out for?
We can't string them. So we'd have to get it, if it's gonna be over 20,000 with the appliances and it's all part of one project, we'd still have to go out there. They call it bid stringing, where you try and chop up a project to avoid it. That we can't do.
Right. Yeah, it's, so would you recommend to bring it all together with the appliances or to do it separately?
I think you'd have to look at the cost as a whole with the appliances for the bidding threshold there.
Could you do it on a schedule, or do the construction this year and the appliances next year?
You certainly could, you can't string it out to try and avoid getting.
Right. Right.
I think two bids that you got for everything, one was 15,000, one was 19,000,
Right.
right?
And then, like I said, yeah, the other one was just obnoxious, so.
Right, so we did get a couple bids on the 20,
Right.
so maybe we get one or two more, and we can do that.
Okay, I mean, getting quotes is fine, that's good. But if we don't go out for RFP now, it may delay the project, because then after we get the quotes, we still have to go out an RFP. So, I don't know if there's any hurry, but I just point out that we may delay the whole project.
Right.
If we don't issue an RFP now, if we continue just to get informal bids.
Okay.
But it sounds like you're okay with that?
I think we're okay with that. I think with everything going on the last few weeks, we have enough for that back burner.
Okay, okay, all right.
Right. That's right, thank you.
All right, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
All right, our next old business matter is update on the contract for public relations consultant. Daniel, would you address us about this? You know, how many people are interested and where we are with that?
I don't have too much to say. Yeah, I don't really have too much to report. I did only receive I've received one proposal at this time from a marketing firm, from a gentleman out of Gulf, Illinois. And what I'd like to do is extend it at this time. I think there probably will be more proposals coming in. So if we could extend it maybe by a month or so, I think I would like to do that.
All right, so we'll put that extended deadline on our website.
Yes, we can do that.
Anyway, anyone have any suggestions for getting some additional people who are interested in this?
Where is it posted currently? Is it just posted on the website, and that's the only place, or is it?
Currently, it's posted on the website, correct. So if anyone has any other suggestions where I can post it, I'm definitely open.
I would send you a list of some places. Since I guess it's technically a contract rather than a job.
Right.
I have seen contract positions listed on various like job websites like Indeed and things like that. So I think you can post them. I'll look and see,
Okay.
but then I can send you a list of some places that I've looked in the past for like freelance contract positions, things like that. So.
Sure, that would be great. Yeah, if you can post it other places. I don't know, or because it's a contract.
Yes.
I didn't know if we could do Indeed. If I'm allowed to do that, I would love to do that.
I
So.
think you can, because I know, and even on like LinkedIn and things, when you're going in the job search feature and it asks like what type of job
Sure.
you're looking for, contract is one of the
Okay.
options.
Or if there's forums or, something
Right,
like
so,
that.
and I have reached out to some people I know.
Okay.
And have, sent them information, and several of them seemed interested, so I'll have to. bug them
Maybe
again.
nudge them a little bit?
Yes, and say whether sure.
Okay, and I did reach out to one person I know, but I haven't heard anything either, so.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe we can just.
Yeah, I
a little bit.
Yeah, I can work with you on trying to find a list of places to get it out there.
Okay.
So I think it's hard when the only places right now on the website, like if people don't know the job.
Absolutely.
Is there, they don't come to them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So what do we say, a month extension? Is that?
Whatever the board, 1 month, 2 months, I don't know.
I'd like to see 1 month just to get this moving.
Okay.
Because we've already got it up there for at least 1 month.
Right.
So I'd just like to make a decision. I think a month's enough.
Okay.
But
Well, I guess we can see what we get in a month.
Are there colleges that we can do? It's like one person's maybe, a person's looking for a job, just graduated from college.
Hey, you might be able to reach out to Oakton or even Harper and see if they have recent graduates in their communications department or something that may be looking.
That might be something, maybe interesting.
So
for sure.
I can look too. I'll help you make a list of places, but
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to new business. The first item is discussion and vote on township email renewal package. Richard?
Thank you, Supervisor Bennett. The township will need to upgrade our current email service by the end of the year. We have been using a product called Workspace Email that was originally around in 1992. So it's about 30 years old, so a lot of companies are discontinuing it. Our hosting company that provides our website hosting as well as our email hosting is GoDaddy. They're phasing out that Workspace Email product by the end of the year. So we'll need to upgrade to Microsoft 365, which is a more modern email platform. Some benefits of the upgrade include better security. It will also sync across platforms, so users will have the same experience if they're on their desktop, on their phone, or on a mobile device. It'll sync contacts and folders and be easier to use generally. I looked at 3 quotes, both from GoDaddy, our existing company, as well as purchasing it directly from Microsoft or from Comcast. In the memo in your packet, the costs over a 3-year period are listed there. GoDaddy ended up being the least expensive over the 3-year period at $7,700. Microsoft was $9,900 and Comcast was close to $13,000. There are some advantages with going with our existing hosting provider because they currently host our email. They're responsible to make sure that the transition goes smoothly, whereas going with another company, there could be potentially finger pointing if there's a problem with the migration. So after consulting with our IT company, I recommend going with GoDaddy for that option, $7,700 for the 3-year period of time.
Okay, so let's get this on the table for a motion. And Richard, are you asking now for us to pass the adoption of GoDaddy for a 3-year period of time? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be for the 7,700 is the one that you're recommending, is that right?
That's correct.
All right. Do I have a motion to contract with GoDaddy to provide email services for the next 3 years for $7,700?
I'll make a motion to follow Richard's advice and hire GoDaddy for the 3-year period of time at the price that was discussed, $7,700, is it?
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Richard, I have a question about this, and I want to open it up to everyone, including our other elected officials who use the email too. When I look at my email, I thought we had Microsoft 365, because that's what it looks like to me. So can you explain the difference between what these 2 products are, what I'm seeing on the screen, and what we're contracting for?
Sure. A lot of main difference is on the back end where the product is hosted. So this would be an upgrade to a Microsoft Exchange server hosted email. The current email we have is it's called a POP3 account. So it's a older version. It doesn't sync across platforms. The user experience will remain similar if you're on your desktop. So you're going to be using Outlook still. But it's on the back end where the email is hosted. Everything will sync together. So if you are accessing your email from the website instead of from your desktop, you'll have the same access to contacts and folders and old email, just as if you were using it from your computer.
So, I'm sorry, can you clarify, how is it going to look to us when we get our email here and when we get it off-site? Is it like it is now, or will it look different?
The experience using your desktop computer will be very similar. It will still be Outlook. When you access it from the internet, it will also still be Outlook. So it will look like you are using your desktop computer. Right now, you're logging into a really old, kind of dated platform, so it'll be more similar to how Outlook looks.
Okay. All right, I'd like to open it up to everyone else here who might have a question or a comment about this email change. Get the concerns, obviously, all the departments use this, I don't know if this is something that you're comfortable with.
If Rich says it's good, I'm comfortable with it. He's always kind of been our go-to guy, so. I just know if I open it up and it works, and it does.
That's all you need, right?
All right, Rich's email memo also says that it can be accessed by any device. Is that an improvement, Rich? That the emails can be accessed from any device, if I read that?
Currently,
Is that a
you
problem?
can access them from any device, but the experience is very different and everything doesn't sync together. So it's like if you need an email that you have on your desktop and you're looking at it on your phone,
I see.
you won't be able to get that now, but you will be able to have the same experience across devices.
And a better experience, in your opinion?
A better experience,
Okay.
I just have a question. Why, what was the reason Comcast gave? I mean, their bid isn't even competitive.
Yeah, they charge a migration fee, so that added almost $3,000 to the cost, whereas the other companies waived that fee. So that was really the difference. Yeah.
One question was that the GoDaddy, like you give it's 7,700 for the 3 years, and then it says after 3 years, it will go up to full price, which would be $12,220. Do you think at that point they would let us sort of renegotiate at the lower price again, or?
Potentially, yeah. So I explored that question both with them as well as with the other companies too. So they're offering us a promotional discount currently of about 35% on the initial migration. So in 3 years from now, it's really impossible to tell what the other companies that we're comparing will charge. I did read a few days ago that Microsoft has already increased the price by $1 for the product. So the quote that they're giving us now would be increased by $1 per user per month.
Right. So it's possible that any three of these companies, 3 years from now, these numbers aren't necessarily going to be the same either. So it's not like,
Yeah.
you know.
So we don't really know. But
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. That's something we can explore to do another 3-year contract and get some kind of discount at that point. But it's impossible to say what the cost with any companies would be in 3 years.
Following up on Kim's question, is there some service that Comcast offers that justifies that big price difference that they offer that these others don't? That you're aware of that they think is so valuable, that's why they...
They're a very similar product with small degrees of difference.
Okay.
The Comcast product did include cloud-based storage, which the average user here doesn't really need because we have server-based storage. Whereas the GoDaddy product did not include that.
Okay.
So it doesn't really, the extra cost wouldn't really benefit.
Doesn't benefit us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? All right, we do have a motion on the table. Maybe we have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Richard, I put you on the agenda for the next item too, since you're already standing up there.
Keep talking.
And this is a discussion, we're not voting, but just a discussion about possible cyber security audit. I asked Rich to look into this. I know some other firms are doing this. We had a financial audit, which we always do every year. We did that a few months ago. And this is a cyber audit. Richard, can you tell us what this type of audit would do? And if you've talked to one of our companies and roughly how much money this costs?
Sure. So with the cybersecurity audit, I got a quote and information from one company just to kind of get some general information called BW Cyber Services. And there are different components that can be purchased separately. The main two components, the first component it's called a penetration test or a pen test and a vulnerability assessment. What this does is tests the security capabilities of our current network. So they'll test the firewall from the outside to see if somebody could potentially hack into the firewall and get a hold of information in the township, computers that would be confidential. They'll test the servers in the building. They'll test what would happen if somebody's credentials were compromised. What information could somebody access if somebody stole somebody's login information here? They do quite a bit of, they call it ethical hacking. So they pretend to be a bad actor and try to hack in and do whatever they can. They're not actually going to steal information or do any damage, but they are testing to see if that could be done by someone who wanted to do the township harm. They'll also do email phishing tests to all the employees to kind of test and see, does somebody click on this link that would then install malware on their computer or result in potentially another issue related to that. And so that's the first part of it. The second component, and that first part is $10,000 for the fee. The second component is what's called a cybersecurity risk assessment. So this is a review of all security policies, how the IT company has things set up, internal controls regarding use of technology, and any recommendations for changes based on industry best practices. That would be a fee of $7,500. And then the third option would be a web application testing, which is testing our website for any potentially problematic security issues. That would be about $1,000. And then there's a fourth option. If you do the mitigation, you can retest for approximately $3,000 to make sure that everything was done correctly. There's some ways we can mix and match this. If we ended up wanting to do part of it and not the other, but the complete package, if you do everything, would be somewhere between $1,700 to $2,100.
Okay, all right. Thanks. If you would just remain there for a moment, what I just want to do is open this up to the board members to see if anyone else has undergone such an audit or has any feelings about it. I don't know if those, how competitive those prices are. That was just one company, so I'm not suggesting we go with this particular company or any particular company at this time. But I just wanted to ask if there's any interest in a cyber audit at all. Does that seem like something that is a good idea? Go ahead.
I know, well, it's funny that you're bringing this up because I'm in the process of doing one at my office, in the real estate office. And I had a company come in that was trying to pitch to me, and the numbers were very similar to kind of what you were proposing there. And in talking to my insurance guy who happened to be coming in next, he's like, oh, it's funny you're talking about that because we provide that as a free service through, so it might be something worth checking out with our insurance company if they either offer it or have a discounted rate for something like that. Because yeah, they wanted $8,000, and I think through the insurance company, I'm getting a portion of it free. I'm going to pay like $1,200 for everything. So I was.
Would you talk to Richard about who your insurance company
is?
Yeah. Later you can talk about that. Okay.
Sure.
All right, thanks. Are you going to say something? I wasn't sure if you wanted to add something or no. Okay.
No, I mean, I would just say that, to me, that would be well worth it. I mean, for that kind of money to do a stress test, I think it might be worth it.
All right, Susan?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, your department obviously handles a lot of information about residents, right?
Yes, we have a lot of data.
And, I'd hate to see that breached. I would be a little concerned about that. Let me ask other people at this end, any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, we're dealing with residents' sensitive information and various things I think it's important to make sure that we are safe.
Okay.
All right. Also, HR information, health information for employees, and also general assistance, mainstay, very, very private information. So I think that's a great suggestion.
Just as an aside on the topic of hacking, we still don't have to do our Open Meetings Act training because the Attorney General's website is still down after being hacked about at least 6 months ago. So I just checked yesterday and it's still not back up. So we will look into this further since it seems like there's some interest on behalf of the board members. We're going to circle maybe back to that in a minute, so Rich, if you were to stay there. The next item on the agenda is the American Rescue Plan Act. You may have seen the survey that's gone out. The county has sent out the survey, and maybe you've taken it. In the survey, they say we want to hear from you. What areas should we prioritize the $1 billion in funds that Cook County has to distribute? I went on the survey and I said, give it to townships, give it to townships. I might fill it out a few different times, I'm not sure. But in any event, I'm trying to explore what we could, how to get these funds if possible, what we could spend it on. And how to get the funds is not that simple. Because the American Rescue Plan provisions provide, as far as I can tell, municipalities in Cook County with populations of over 50,000, that's not us, will receive direct funds from American Rescue Plan. While the state of Illinois is responsible for distributing funds to entities with less than 50,000. So we don't fit into either one of those categories, unfortunately. And I'm trying to figure out how we can get some of these funds for our township, particularly on incorporated areas, which are not served by any municipalities and won't get these ARPA funds directly through municipalities. So I've talked to Senator Murphy, I've called Commissioner Silvestri's office, Commissioner Morrison's office, I even called Commissioner Suckerden, even though he's just a boarder. And I'm trying to make some headway with them in terms of getting Cook County to funnel some money to our township. I also talked with the township office officials of Illinois, lobbyists too. So I have a lot more work to do. I really don't fully understand this act, but I do understand that generally the funds should be used for capital projects or other one-time expenses, not for daily operating expenses. And there is an effort to try and direct these funds to communities or areas that were hard hit by COVID, which I think can be said was the case, especially for our unincorporated areas. So I encourage you all to brainstorm about, assuming we can get these funds, which is what I'm working on, what's something we could use it for. And that sort of ties into what Rich, coincidentally, Rich was just looking into. Did you want to talk a bit about that, Rich?
Sure. I had contacted a representative from a company called Learn and Design Live, and they specialize in securing and managing grant funding for private, public, and nonprofit sectors. So what the person told me is that the ARPA funding needs to be tied somehow to pandemic response. So I was specifically exploring the possibility whether cybersecurity testing or upgrades could be potentially paid for by the ARPA funds. What they told me is that they felt that was possible. So for example, you could make the case that due to the pandemic, we've had to use a lot more technology. Our day-to-day operations depend on technology working, our data being secure. We've had to adjust how we work with the pandemic, so we're relying even more heavily on technology now than we did before the pandemic. So they sent me some examples. I shared with Supervisor Diamond some examples of how that could be used. So there is a possibility that potentially there could be some grant money available for some cybersecurity improvements.
And did you say that you learned about one other act that might?
Yeah, so the
help us?
infrastructure package in there, they told me that there's something called the State and Local Cybersecurity Improvement Act. It sounds like it hasn't passed the House yet, but there may be to the tune of $400 million per year available for state and local governments specifically to make improvements in their cybersecurity. So that's another option potentially to explore getting grant money for some of these testing improvements that we have to make.
Okay, all right. All right, thanks very much, Richard. So I'm going to continue to explore if it's possible to get these funds, how do we get them, how can we get legislators to support our getting these funds. well, I'm going to ask you to think of ways we could use this money. I mean, the highway department, it seems like, infrastructure improvements would definitely be something that I would think that would be definitely covered. But there may be other things that you are thinking of that haven't crossed my mind. So again, this is something I'm going to be continuing to look at over the upcoming months.
I had a comment too, Karen.
But that,
Maybe, I had a comment?
yes,
Maybe we can tie it into what John Bennett was requesting that got cut off. He's in the emergency management communication, and we can tie that in somehow.
well, that seems very possible, Jim. That seems possible.
To
So,
tie in with that.
Josh can think of something. So, all right. Okay, I think that's all regarding that point. Our next item on the new business is discussion of township open hours for service. I was talking with the directors yesterday and mentioned that our personnel code mentions that we're open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, which we're not really, but it did make me wonder if, to what extent we can serve residents who aren't available between 9 and 5. And a number of our departments already serve people outside of those hours, like Recovery in Action and Mainstay. Of course, Maine Streamers is always having events in the evenings. But I did want to talk with the board about expanding some of our other services during, say, one night a week or maybe a Saturday morning and see how you felt about that. I'm not talking about increasing any hours for employees. Like if someone came in at noon and one day, maybe they'd stay until 8 or something like that. So that was more what I was thinking of. But I wanted to hear what other board members and elected officials have to say about that.
I think for working parents and just, working people that want to come in and get their passports renewed or do things like that, it's hard to find the time to do it if it's, between 9 and 5. I think it would be helpful to have evening hours or a Saturday, but, I don't want to put the burden on the staff of increasing hours, but if we could shift even hours, that would be like, instead of being 9 to 5 on a particular day, if you could shift those hours so people are still working the same amount of hours, it was open even a couple hours, just 7 or something, that's helpful.
Okay, Jim, I'm sorry, did I hear something over here?
I was just gonna say to that, certainly something that I'd be open to. I'd have to talk it over with staff and see what their thoughts or input is on it, because, if somebody's gonna wanna give up like a Saturday morning to come in and, lose a day of the weekend,
It wouldn't have to be Saturday, it could be one weeknight or something like that.
Yeah.
But sure.
But no, it's certainly a valid point that, yeah, sometimes it is hard for people to get here at business hours.
Anything else? Yes.
I might have a little problem with that. Our department deals with the Cook County Assessment, the Cook County Treasurer, the Cook County Board of Review, the Cook County Clerk. They don't have any other business hours. You have to hold on with their hours. They're 9 to 5. And not only that, but when I have appeals open, I've got staff now not able to leave till 7 o'clock, and they've been giving up their lunch to deal with people. It would be, I would really have to sit down and talk to my staff, because Saturdays, Cook County's not open. And during the week, if you're pushing us to stay longer, to 7, well, then my staff might not get out here. I might not get out here till 10 o'clock. Because we answer phone calls. We have to finish up whatever we're doing, our paperwork. There's a lot more, like the assessor's office. I know it's a little bit more difficult. And actually now we're hoping to help people with phone. So we can help both with phone and talk to them because of the pandemic. So we're more open in that regard. Information, and mailing copies of what we do to our residents so they have that, appeals, or exemptions, anything that they can send us, they can mail, they can leave in our mailbox in front, we'll handle it that way. So there's, a lot in that respect. We might be open to doing something but I really have to sit down and talk to staff, because this is the first I've heard of this discussion.
Well, your people work.
They work.
Very call all the time, yeah.
But that's nothing to do. Jim, were you about to say something earlier, or no?
No, not really. I guess I would have, same thing that Kelly said, as long as it's sensitive to the workers we have now and they're paid for it. And it fits within their schedule, obviously. This is something that we don't really have a proven need for, changing hours. So we don't really have a proven need for it or request for it. Why would we do it unless we can handle it? The people who work here can handle it and cover the additional hours. That's all.
Yeah, I think a discussion, we could definitely have a discussion about maybe even, one day a week or every other week or something, just see what this, again, I agree with what Jim said. As long as we're sensitive to staff. And I can see if you're working there, just, have a magnified job. It is difficult to get here unless you take the day off or, hours off. So we definitely have that discussion.
Okay, all right. As you said, this is just on here for discussion, not for any vote this evening. So we'll go to the next item, which is about the blood drive. Jerry, did you want to address information about the blood drive?
Good evening. About 3 weeks ago, I received a phone call from Cook County Commissioner Peter Silvestri's office asking if Supervisor Diamond would consider co-hosting a blood drive here at Maine Township. Without hesitation, Supervisor Diamond agreed, as I'm sure many of you know, the blood shortage is critical, not only here in Illinois, but throughout the United States. This afternoon, I met with Mr. Hugo Sahagan. He's the donor recruitment representative from Vitalant to discuss the blood drive. It's going to take place here at Town Hall in our downstairs community room on Thursday, October 14, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Hugo would like to see 32 to 35 people sign up so that possibly we could achieve at least 25 units of blood. A lot of people sign up, they come in, and then they find out they can't give blood. Commissioner Silvestri will also be promoting the blood drive, and Hugo is going to be posting information on his website so that people who regularly give blood may sign up with us. He indicated to me there's a lot of people in Park Ridge that actually regularly give blood so that they may sign up and come here. When donors arrive, they'll be asked a few questions. They're going to take their temperature, blood pressure, and hemoglobin. After that, then there will be 4 phlebotomists here to draw blood for the donors. The whole procedure takes about an hour. The actual blood drive only takes 10 minutes. Hugo mentioned to me that his company provides blood to 60 hospitals. He gets notification 3 times a day about how much his blood supply is, his company's blood supply is. Today I spoke, when we were talking, he got informed that he only has 1 day of blood left in his company. I gave you, the board, a little bit of information, but I'm going to be sending more out. He's going to be sending me a poster promoting our blood drive and also how you can sign up online. Any questions?
No, so that date again, we all have it.
Thursday, October 14th, 10 a.m. to 4.
We got our calendars and
I'll be here.
So hopefully, I asked him to get it to me by next week, Monday, the poster and then the information where you can sign up. And then I'll email it to the whole staff and then also to all of you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you for setting that up. Sorry very much.
No problem.
Okay. All right, The last thing on our report before our closed session is official reports. We do have written reports in our packet. Is there anything the officials would like to add to what we see in the written reports?
I just want to say that we ended our appeals with Cook County Assessor's Office on Monday, so we have a lot of disappointed people and called today and hoping to get an appeal. We actually found out towards the end of July, we were at the bottom of the assessor's list for appeals, and we were figuring maybe September, open in September, we thought. Lo and behold, the day before we opened, I got notification that we're going to be open for appeals, which was quite a surprise for us, considering that the assessor site was not completely prepared to take on into the portal all our appeals, and the system went down on various occasions, which was very disconcerting because to get the appeals in would be a difficult task. The beginning of the tax bills have come out. You probably, if you haven't got one in the mail, you should have received one on Monday if you live in the township. The tax bills do have some mistakes we're finding out on as we accumulate more information and working on it. We're going to have to ask for revised tax bills from the county. We are continuing trying to input our certificate of errors, which is very disconcerting with that because people have gotten their tax bills and do not have their exemptions on it. So in that regard, we're trying to get it into the assessor's office. We're looking at their portal to make sure that they have actually put them in. We're finding that is disturbing because that has not altogether come true. So we're working on that. So there's a lot of different little quirky things right now going on. Puts my staff working a little bit harder, a little bit longer, reviewing things a couple times more where they shouldn't have to be doing that. So it's a lot of energy on staff's part, and like I said, that I have staff going home late at night because we have to finish up the work and try to get it in. So that's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Beth.
I'll try to be quick. I just wanted to report that our annual street projects will be starting soon. It's a little bit late, but they're starting nonetheless. These will include street surfacing along with sidewalk and curb replacement for the following streets: Deer Road and Robin Road from Ballard to Dempster, Rancho from Ballard to end of cul-de-sac, Bobby from Howard to the alley, William Road and Linda Road east of Flora, and the parking lot of the Highway Department and Office of Emergency Management. Those two need it pretty bad, so they're going to get done. The anticipated completion date is mid to late October. Highway crews have been extremely busy removing hundreds of downed limbs and debris from roadways and creeks with the recent storms. They've also been repainting pedestrian crosswalk markings, checking stop signs, and picking up, chipping tree branches through our monthly summer pickups. With that, our final tree branch pickup for the 2021 season will begin on Monday, September 20th. Today I had Highway Department crew members attend a snow plowing safety course sponsored by NIPSTA in Glenview. I know it's only August, but December's going to be here before we know it. So I would like to commend my crew for all of the tireless extra work they put in the last few weeks with the large amounts of storm damage. Also, Maine Township staff did an incredible job with all the events held at the township, especially in such a short period of time. And Trustee Malik did a great job organizing the two cultural events. I was unable to attend the Pakistan Cultural Night, but the Indian Night was very successful. So, finally, I would like to thank residents of Maine Township for their input in responding to the Highway Department report cards that were sent out. We got a lot of valuable input on those, so thank you.
Anything you want to add?
Nothing to report.
All right, and how about any of the other trustees? Is there anything you want to report on?
I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow night is, here is another driving concert.
Oh, yes.
I've been enjoying going to all of them. I went to the Rosie and Rivets one in July, and so tomorrow's Dancing Queen. It's the music of ABBA, and it's 6:30 to 8:30. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who worked to help make those Indian recycling and Pakistani events successful. It was truly a team effort, and everybody worked so hard. And thank you, Nader, for Sam's video. I hope that we're going to post it on the website. We'll post it on the website so that people can enjoy it. Good. So, yeah, that was beautiful. So, thank you.
All right, well, we'll have to get a release from Sam, right?
And remind you, everybody, that next Wednesday, September 1st, is the Neighborhood Watch meeting. So hopefully residents will attend and find out some interesting information about the community.
Is that going to be outside again, if you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
It may or may not be.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting to hear from Marie. They may take the tent away.
Oh, okay.
So I'll know tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't know that. Sorry. Thank
And I'm
you.
not sending the reminder out until next week, Monday, so it
Okay.
should be okay.
All right. Well, it'll be here somewhere.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. All right, can I have a motion to go into closed session for two reasons: approval of closed session minutes and to discuss pending litigation. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, do a roll call.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Macher?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We just went out of close, right? So we're automatically back in. So now we're adjourning from open. And I have a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
And a second?
Second.
Second. And any discussion? No?
No discussion.
All in favor, everybody do roll call?
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Macher?
Yes.
Okay.